All right, let's talk about gold. It's been on an absolute tear, smashing its all-time record. And today, we're going to figure out exactly why. This isn't just about a price tag, It's a fascinating story about global jitters, huge institutional bets, and a wild chain reaction that's making some companies incredibly rich. Let's dive in.
So let's just start with the number that's got everybody's attention, $5,102. That is the new, frankly staggering all-time high for a single ounce of gold. I mean, think about that. A few years ago, that number would have sounded like science fiction. It tells you something big is shifting in the world.
And that leads us to the big question, right? Why? Why are investors, from regular folks to entire countries, suddenly willing to pay more for this shiny metal than at any other point in human history? What is going on? Well, we're going to break it all down.
First things first, before we get into the why, let's really grasp the what. This is not some small, everyday price bump. We're looking at a truly historic surge. And to understand it, you have to remember gold's special role in the financial world. For centuries, gold has been known as the ultimate safe haven asset. What does that really mean? Basically, when things get crazy out there, when markets get choppy, political tensions are high, or people start worrying about the value of their money, investors run to gold. It's like the financial world's emergency shelter. And right now, it looks like a big storm is brewing.
So, what are these specific storms that have everyone running for cover? Well, it seems to be a perfect storm, actually. A bunch of powerful global drivers all hitting at the exact same time.
You can really boil it down to three main things. First, there's just a ton of geopolitical risk bubbling up all over the planet. Second, and this one is fascinating, we're seeing absolutely unprecedented demand from the world's central banks. And third, investors are using gold as a shield, a kind of insurance policy, against some really big picture economic worries.
And these risks can come from the most unexpected places. Get this, analysts at HSBC are pointing to geoeconomic issues in Greenland. Seriously, it's just a perfect reminder that in our hyper-connected world, a problem anywhere, whether it's Greenland or the Middle East, can send shockwaves through the market, pushing people towards the perceived safety of gold.
And listen, this isn't just about individual investors getting spooked. Check out this chart. Before 2022, central banks were buying, on average, about 17 tons of gold a month. Today, that number has just exploded to around 60 tons a month. That's insane! Countries are literally piling into gold, trying to move their reserves away from other assets.
And beyond all the immediate crises, there's this deeper, kind of constant hum of anxiety. Analysts point out that people are trying to protect themselves from long-term risks, things like governments having way too much debt, or the stability of major currencies like the dollar being called into question. These are big structural worries that make gold look really attractive for the long haul.
Okay, so we get it. The world is nervous, and that's pushing the price of gold into the stratosphere. But what does that actually look like in the real world? I mean, how does an abstract price on a screen turn into cold, hard cash?
Well, it's a pretty simple question, and it has a really clear answer. If the price of the thing you sell suddenly goes through the roof, you're going to make a fortune. And in the world of gold, that means the miners, the companies that actually pull the stuff out of the ground.
To really see this in action, let's look at a quick case study. We're going to focus on a company called New Gold Inc. The reason we picked them is because their stock price is super sensitive to the price of gold, so it makes the cause and effect relationship crystal clear. So let's zoom right in on New Gold Inc. and see just how big of an impact this global trend is having on one single company.
Get ready for this number. In just 1 year, as gold's price was surging, New Gold Inc. stock shot up over 341%. That is just an incredible return, and it perfectly shows that direct line between the price of the commodity and the value of the company that produces it. And that amazing stock performance has rocketed the company's value to over $10 billion. They've basically been catapulted into the big leagues, all thanks to this new gold rush. But, when anything grows that fast, it's going to attract a lot of scrutiny. So it's only fair to point out that some analysts are starting to wave a little yellow flag. An analysis from Investing Pro is suggesting the stock might now be a bit overvalued, maybe in overbought territory. Basically, they're asking if the price has gone up too far, too fast. It's the other side of the coin when you see a surge this massive. So let's step back for a second and connect all these dots. We've talked about global fear, a record-breaking price, and a huge corporate payday.
What we're really looking at is a simple but very powerful chain reaction.
Here's how it works, step by step. First, global uncertainty goes up. That fear makes investors look for a safe haven, and they pile into gold. That huge demand, step 3, pushes gold's price to record highs. And finally, those record prices make the companies that mine the gold, like New Gold Inc., incredibly valuable. It's a straight line from fear on the news to fortune on the stock market.
And that kind of leaves us with one last really important thought. We talked about the what and the how, but it's the why that really matters here. A record high gold price isn't just a number on a chart. It's a fear gauge for the entire planet. So as we watch these numbers climb, the real question we should be asking ourselves is this: what is the world so afraid of right now?